Hey, Kingdom family, welcome to the living room. Let's have a three crowns conversation, baby. Now, this conversation might trigger some people, but hey, level up at this point. All right. The scripture we'll be reading today is going to come out of Psalms 37 and 5, and it says, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act." All right. Notice it says commit and trust, not complain and wait. All right. Kings and queens, this conversation is about no victims are allowed in the kingdom. All right. We only speak about solutions. All right. So this is for the people that got a victim mentality, always thinking that, everything is against them and not for them. All right. Kings and queens, now, the sad thing about this conversation is it's a whole bunch of grown, old adults that still want to be in a victim mentality, and they don't understand. They look absolutely ridiculous, by the way. But I want you to understand that this is not something that we do in the kingdom. No, we don't. Complaining will keep you in victimhood, always trying to point the finger outside of yourself about your circumstances, knowing damn well it's really you. All right. I want you to understand that if you have God in your life, though, you do not become a victim. You actually become a victor. All right. Because you now are in the energy where you can actually come up with solutions. All right. Faith and action will move you into a victory very quickly as well. But kings and queens, let's talk about where this victim mindset even come from, all right? The first thing that a victim does is they say, why me? This isn't fair. Why is this happening to me? They always trying to hold me down. They told me no. And it goes on and on and on. And it's like, never, not once does the victim ever say, why haven't I changed the things that are not working for me? Why am I not looking at myself? Why do I continue with patterns that are clearly not elevating me any type of way? Why am I making excuses for everything I got going on? All right. That's what victims do not do. A victim will actually wait for a change, but a victor will actually come up with a solution and move forward and let God handle the rest, kings and queens. All right. And so how do we actually figure out if we're a victim of a circumstance or not, all right? If we have a victim mindset. First, number one, a victim does not even think about a solution, all right? The victim actually wants everybody else to solve their problems, all right? The thing about it is, you have to be the type of person, if you want to get out of your situation, where you, number one, have to take accountability. And you got to also look at the fact that everything that you say out of your mouth carries power. So if you speaking down, or you complaining, or you going through a whole bunch of negative words and letting it fall out your mouth, then you better understand that your words is carrying power and you're seeing exactly what you're saying, all right? God said death and life is in the power of the tongue, all right? And those who love it will eat its fruits. And what God meant by that is God said, whatever you speak out of your mouth, you're definitely going to see the same words you spoke out of your mouth. You're going to see it in your life, all right? So you got to be very careful about what you say. And the first thing that a victim will do is they'll say a whole bunch of negative stuff, not knowing that they are sabotaging their whole entire existence, all right? The first thing you want to do as a victor, though, is you will absolutely say that I am not defeated. I will not be discouraged. I will not be delayed. God is my solution. And you have to understand that your words really mean that. All right, you got to believe that God is going to help you with your solutions. All right, you got to believe that you can cut out a very situation with God and align yourself with the strategy of heaven. All right, as a victim, you're gonna experience setbacks, but you don't have to be a person that actually is letting your setbacks hold you down. All right, all of us have been through situations where we have been set back for a minute, but God wanted us to look at some things that we might need to change. All right, but to sit up here and not try to do anything in your setback and expect everybody around you to understand it from your point of view, is absolutely ridiculous, because people are not in your situations. All right, so they can show you some compassion behind it, but nobody is also a victim of your circumstances. You're the only victim of your own circumstances, and it's not realistic for you to want someone to actually be a victim with you. It's not realistic, and it's not cool to want to bring people down with you just because you choose not to come up with solutions for your own life. Kings and queens, I want you to understand that mature people will come up with a solution. Immature people will expect everybody else to come up with a solution for them. After a certain age, it looks absolutely ridiculous for you to be a victim. To come up with a solution in anything that you have in your life, number one, you need to identify what the problem is clearly, all right? Don't sugarcoat it. Don't try to stuff it down and act like you don't know exactly what you are going through, all right? The second thing you need to do is ask God for guidance. James 1:5 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all who reproach, and it will be given to him. So you automatically need to go to God for all solutions anyway. He is a solution maker. He created the problem. He got the solution. The next thing you need to do is you need to brainstorm. You need to strategize. You need to figure out, what did other people do in my current situation? What to get out of their situation, or whatever the case may be. And then after that, you need to move, because like God said, faith without works is dead. James 2:17. And then after that, you need to have your perseverance to always have the mindset to get out of all solutions. You are no longer a victim. You are a victor, okay? Don't let your circumstances dictate your life, kings and queens, all right? And do not surround yourself around people that have that victim mentality. All they want you to do is to actually just sit in that thing with them, because they're not trying to tell you that they're too lazy to actually create a solution for their lives. And 9 times out of 10, they put themselves in the circumstances over and over again as a repeated cycle that they do not want to address. All right, kings and queens? So that's what I have for you today. I'll talk to you soon.